Are you ready to be a co-host?
I'm going to try my best. Nick is big shoes to fill. You know what I mean?
He is.
He's big shoes to fill, but yeah, I'm going to try.
Hello and welcome to Sidetracked. It's Annie McManus here, and I am joined by an incredibly special guest. In place of Nick Grimshaw is a man who has been rapping for 20 years. He came up through the grime scene and has released 2 Mercury Prize nominated albums, Conflict of Interest and most recently On Purpose with Purpose. He has collaborated with everyone you could think of in the UK music scene and is deeply, deeply respected for his craft. We welcome the one, the only, Ghetts!
Jeez! I'm in the building. Annie, what's happening? You good?
I'm good, babe. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
You are a busy man. You're a busy artist. You're busy making Mercury-nominated albums.
Jeez!
Out there touring, out there on stage with Lauryn Hill and Wyclef at the O2,
Jeez,
which is the last time I
jeez.
saw you. So yeah, we've got a lot to catch up on.
Wicked.
This is the podcast where we talk about music, we talk about music culture. We're going to do all of that this week, but can you do the swear warning, please, Ghetts?
Please, please, please. If we swear, do not be alarmed. You are being warned right now. There might, there can be swear words that often represent some passion, yeah? So just chill.
Love that.
All right.
It's true. It's always passion. Okay, so Ghetts, how are you? What have you been up to this week with regards to like music? Have you been to shows? Have you been listening to stuff? Have you been consuming stuff?
Do you know what happened to me? The strangest thing happened. I heard this tune by Tyla, the young lady from South Africa.
Yeah.
What's it called? Let me check my phone. What's the tune called? I can't believe.
Is it new?
I don't know if it's new, but I accidentally stumbled on it.
Yeah.
And Annie, I swear to you, I've listened to this tune 1,010 times in a row.
God. Oh my God.
Like, in a row. Like, what's it called? Push to Start.
Push to Start.
Push to Start, Annie.
Okay, I need to check that out.
It's extremely well written. But if I'm being honest, the first time I heard it, I was on edibles. So I feel like that gave me, like, I felt like I was in the music. I was like, bro, I've actually slept on this. You know, like, I'm thinking, oh my days, this might be the best song in the world right now. Like, it had 4 choruses in a row. That's how mad it was. It was like chorus, 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 chorus.
Wow, you have sold that to me.
No, that's the last thing I've heard. Push to Start.
Tyla.
By Tyla, yeah.
Actually, weirdly, in this podcast, one of the things we're going to discuss is why our brains return to certain songs. Like, why do we go back to songs over and over again? So we're going to get to that. So that's actually really cool that you've had that experience this week. Let me tell you about a gig I went to on Friday.
Yes.
Have you heard of a band called The Cure?
I have.
Okay. So they're a band that have been around for decades. They haven't brought out an album in 16 years. The lead singer, Robert Smith, I think he's 65. And they are known for being originally a shoegaze band, meaning kind of when you're playing, you're looking down at your feet and you're looking down at your pedals. For you, it's not about showmanship, it's about the sound.
Oh, is it?
So this is what shoegaze bands kind of, this is the origination. There's always heads down. We're not about like the opposite of Bono, basically. They went on and played their new album in full.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah.
45 minutes. Then they went off for an intermission, which I've never experienced at any sort of gig. Then they came back and did 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 15 of solid hits.
Wow.
So they played for 3 hours.
Is that a normal thing for
Apparently
the crowd
that's
to do?
completely normal.
Hats off. Hats off to them, man.
The other thing was the lyrics. So this guy's a poet, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd call himself a poet, but I think
when you hear him,
there's a song on the new album called I Can Never Say Goodbye about the death of his brother. Ghetts, it's one of the saddest set of lyrics I've ever read in my life.
I Can Never Say Goodbye.
Yeah, by The Cure.
The title's actually even
amazing. And it kind of illustrates the night of this man's death. And it is so deeply devastating to listen to.
You felt it. You felt
and to
every
hear
emotion,
that live,
right?
yeah, it was just really quite profound to be in the room and hear that. So that was a really special thing for me to get to go and see that show. I can't believe I haven't even said to you the last time I saw you in person was on stage at the fucking O2 with Lauryn Hill.
Oh yeah, crazy.
And Wyclef.
That's crazy.
Mate, I was there being like, it's
crazy.
Ghetts!
That's crazy,
okay,
man.
please tell me everything. As much as you wish.
I had like a session, a music session with Wyclef. And it's one of like, I'm saying one of, but really I might be downplaying it. It might be the best session I've had.
Wow.
I'm never really under pressure in the studio, if I'm being honest. But I welcome it because I feel like I'm learning so much when I am. And he had me under pressure. Like
How so?
I probably done 8 bars and he had written maybe 10 worldwide hooks in the time I done 8 bars. Shit. Yeah. So and just to see that and hear how well written the hooks was, and then I laid my bar, and then he had come out, he was adding instruments immediately, he was doing the post-production immediately, and I was like, Unks, man, I need the codes. That's what I said. I just leaned over, I looked, I said, Unks, I need the codes. He's like, you got the codes, man. You got the. I was like, no.
I don't have the codes.
I don't have the codes.
Don't have your codes.
I need the codes.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then we just kept the relationship from there, talking. And then he hit me. So where are you? Like you back in London? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, send Skengman. Like he requested Skengman.
Oh my God.
Like, do you know what's mad about music? And this is what I want everyone to understand. Like, it's crazy. Because I have music that I could do at a Lauryn Hill show and it probably would fit in better to the set list. I could do like a double standards or something like that.
Yeah.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
But the Fugees requested Skengman. But, and this is what I want people to know.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Jim. Can you contextualize, just for those who don't know, the significance and what it means to...
Skengman is like one of my most un-PG songs ever. Like you wouldn't think Lauryn Hill would be tapping into Ghetts Skengman, you know what I'm saying, or Wyclef. But it's the differences in us that make us like each other. Because where do you get a Skengman if it's not from me?
How soon before did you get the call?
On the day.
No, you didn't!
I swear down.
No, you didn't!
I swear down. On the day, I didn't even tell my management. I just told them like I was going there and then surprised them when they saw me miking up. But do you know what it was? I don't like saying things before they've happened. I'll be honest. Like I just don't say things before they happen.
That's really sensible.
Because
it's very sensible.
Anything could happen.
You're right.
So I just never say anything before it's happened.
Yeah.
When I used to do the school run for my daughter, I only used to play Miss Education. I told her that as well.
Oh my God, what a dad.
I only used to play that because I used to think to myself, if you start listening to everything that's out one day, I want you to know that you see substance. You'll come back to this because the seed is, you know what I'm saying?
We got to do our headlines now. We're going to get into our deeper topics later, but let's run through some headlines of big stuff that's happened this week in music. Quincy Jones has died at the age of 91.
Quincy Jones, wow. Where do you start with somebody like Quincy Jones?
So much of the most iconic, timeless pop music he is responsible for. But babe, can I read you a quote?
Yes.
So this was a quote that was Honey Dijon put up. Honey Dijon is a DJ and a producer. She worked on the Beyonce album. This is what Quincy Jones said. He said, "Your music can never be more or less than you are as a human being. Work on being a good human being first, musician second."
Wow. That kind of spoke to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I always feel like when I feel like I'm the best music version of myself, I'm possibly not the best human.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like I've been distant. I'm not around. I've not been a great friend. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's so that actually really spoke to me. You know what I mean?
A lot of people, I mean, in the tributes that I've seen, talked about who he was as a person, as well as his role of being a producer. But his role of being a producer is like the accolades, 28 Grammys.
Crazy.
One of the most influential jazz musicians of the 20th century. That was a Time magazine accolade. And we found this clip of Quincy describing the role of the producer in an interview on the BBC. So this is from the BBC archives. This is from 1988. Let's hear this.
The producer has to be able to see it almost like an X-ray. Every musical moment that happens in the studio, he has to be able to look at it just like it's straight through an X-ray, because if it's going fine, you have no problem. The producer's biggest job is to know what's wrong with it. Why doesn't it put goosebumps on my hand? Why am I not getting goosebumps? And you have to keep playing with it until that happens. And people are bombarding you with all kinds of ideas. You've got your own ideas, Michael's and the drummers and this one. And it's your job to say, to be the moderator, to hold and say, it needs this, and to keep that truth in focus.
Wow. I love that analogy of an X-ray. I think there's something to be said for the producer as a kind of it's more than technical ability and vision. It's also like being able to, like, they're a communicator. Like they have to embolden you to be able to say things that you feel but maybe aren't able to articulate, or kind of, I don't know, it's how to bring stuff out of you. You could come with loads of ideas, but maybe there's people who can come and they don't know how to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
So there's a social aspect to it too.
100%.
And being comfortable with someone in the studio.
And being able to collab as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Being able to give someone the freedom, the space to do what they're doing, but also knowing when to kind of just give them a hand. Because it's hard for some people to collab sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Egos and different things, you know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of know how to navigate through those situations as well.
Yeah, it's an ego, like knowing how to deal with egos and be diplomatic. And,
exactly.
I mean, clearly, Quincy Jones was all of those things, like the amount of people that he worked with. It's really sad, but I think when someone is 91 when they die, like his family said, our hearts are full and broken. So it's a sense of like, it's more of a celebration now than a kind of...
100%. 91, man. In this day and age, those are some good years.
I know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I'd be delighted to live that long. Yeah. Right, next up Ghetts. This is quite the switch. Yeah,
talk to me. Where are we at?
An anonymous food and sex writer has managed to swing the rapper CASISDEAD and the actress and writer Lena Dunham as co-narrators for a teaser of their new book, which is called Tart, which is described as a hilarious, hot and steamy account of coming of age in and out of the kitchen. It's very unclear whether they've narrated the whole thing or if it's just a promo, but it has been causing quite a stir online, this promo. They must be well connected. Do you want to hear a clip?
I do. I actually
Correct answer. Let's hear it. This could be cringe.
I like sex and I like cooking.
She doesn't know which she prefers.
Well, it depends on who I'm having sex with or who I'm cooking for.
Okay, babe. What about me?
Are you okay?
Do you know what? That sounds crazy interesting though.
It does, yeah.
But maybe because I'm a CASISDEAD fan, this is what's driving me to want to hear it. It's
so you're a CASISDEAD fan?
Yeah, I am.
Me too.
So listening to like him in this capacity may just, you know what I'm saying?
For me, it doesn't feel like a reach for him.
Yeah, no,
like
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't.
Would you ever do voiceovers, Ghetts?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you're an actor as well.
Yeah, I've been, there's this, so listen, Annie Mac. There's this voice I've been doing for a long time now.
Oh my God.
Now I'm thinking more in the Space Wars, Star Wars space. You know what I'm saying?
It's giving like Jabba the Hutt.
I'm thinking in that space right now. I needed to warm up my voice today to do that, but you can see where I'm going with it, right?
Yeah. So who is this? I need to visualize
I don't know, but
the owner of this voice.
You know what the truth is? I do this voice to my kids.
Oh yeah, I bet. That's proper dad Ghetts business.
And they just laugh.
Yeah.
They just laugh. But I think it's scary.
Get off your iPads.
Yeah. Got a little deep, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Next up, we need to speak of Tyler, the Creator's album. Yeah. So, are you a fan?
Do you know what? I would say I'm somebody that respects how creative he is. I wouldn't say I'm a fan, because what it is I don't over listen to Tyler, the Creator, but when I see him do something, I'm always left with a feeling like, I like my man.
Yeah.
Like I like what he represents and how detailed he is in what he's doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always respect that. So yeah.
In a kind of radical move, he put his album out on a Monday.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I think...
what did you think about that?
I think that's amazing. I feel like somebody just being brave and saying, I want to put my music out on Monday.
Yeah.
And and it coming back number one in the UK and the US and huge numbers, not just number one but actual huge numbers. You know what I mean? Is amazing, and it should inspire us all to be brave. If you've got an idea, go with your idea, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Go with your idea. And sometimes when it's against the format, a lot of people are not going to be able to be like, snap, that's a great idea, because it's not been done before. But yeah, just be brave, man. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's good that we have a new and a fresh example of bravery that's done so well. Yeah, for sure.
With that backdrop of Tyler, the Creator, being brave, putting his album out on a Monday and getting number one in the UK and in the US. Yeah. Let's now switch over to the UK. Yeah. And the UK rap scene. Yeah. So we stumbled across an article on Complex the other day that had quite a big provocative headline. It said, UK rap needs fixing. It's based on comments that Skepta made on X a few weeks ago about the current state of the UK music scene. He posted, I'll read it out to you. The UK music scene is sad. Smallest, most segregated, label-run, crabs-in-a-barrel scene of all scenes. I've tried to collab with everyone, whether they're up and coming or not, but if everyone just wants to get signed and segregated, what's the point? Self-hate has been killing the UK music scene perpetually. Hashtag why lie? So I'm just trying to make sure that I understand it fully. When he's talking about segregation, do we think he means as in people are not collaborating anymore? There's no sense of collective.
See, I don't know the context of...
Let me carry on, because there's a bit that helps us understand. Maybe because I'm from a nurtured scene, pirate radio, magazines, raves, shoots, I'm really feeling the void now. Is the concept of an organic underground scene dead? There you go. That's the big question.
That gives it some context, yeah. And I guess, I don't know, man. I guess everything kind of needs a reset button now and then. I don't know if I agree with all the statements, but I definitely can see the perspective with especially the second tweet that you read out, you know what I'm saying?
The collabing.
Yeah, because we, coming from the time and era that we come from, that's all we kind of had to rely on, you know what I'm saying?
Each other.
Yeah, each other. And I guess collabing came about maybe a bit more easy, but I haven't had trouble collabing with anybody, so I can only really talk about my personal... what's been happening with me, and I collaborate with some of the OGs and some of the newer guys as well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, yeah.
It is interesting, though, looking back at your trajectory and your peers, your Wretch, your Kanos, and Skepta, who all grew up and came up through grime. Yeah. Maybe not Wretch as much, but clash culture. This sense of it being a sport. Yeah. You know, that everybody, and like a passion that everybody got stuck into, and there was an underground. I think what he's trying to get at, there was a real culture, like a rich culture.
Yeah, I just
I don't know if there is that anymore, is there?
I think we can get back there, but I just feel like when money arrives, and I mean this respectfully, but when money arrives, what then happens is that you get people that are businessmen, right? And they go where the money is.
Of course.
So now you've got people that are super talented and passionate about what they do, what they've done and what they're going to do, that also want to make some money as well, but they're more passionate than anything. And now you've got people that are making the business decisions and sometimes could cause friction, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
All what will happen is it will return to the reset, to the origin. It's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? The people that are in it for money, they won't be here when the money's gone.
Yeah, so if
do you know what I'm saying?
You know,
so
absolutely. So the money will go, everybody will come in and it'll all get diluted and weird and conflicted. Then the money will go and it'll become raw and real again.
Yeah, and then it builds again.
So it's just that pattern.
And that's not
that's deep.
Yeah, that's not to say that as somebody that makes music, you don't want to make money for your music. Of course you want to make money for your music, and you deserve to make money
100%.
For your music, 100%. Let's just get that right. But at the end of the day, you are still super passionate about the music.
Right.
Hence why Skep probably feels like that. Do you know what I'm saying? As somebody that is able to make money from his music.
Independently.
But is still passionate about the music itself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can understand that.
So Complex have kind of come up with some interesting potential solutions to this point. The top one is what we just kind of touched on, basically that UK rap needs to tap back into the underground foundations of the genre to, I quote, reignite the flame of hunger and grit that burned brightly in our favourites whilst on the rise. So we have our Central C's, we have our Daves.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I think Sench is sick, and what Sench is doing is amazing, and we've never been here before.
This big.
So like,
yeah.
I also don't get it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've got Sench who arrives in Australia and it's like the Beatles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's an amazing thing.
True.
Like, to see, to witness, to know that, wow, this kid that comes from something a lot of us had a hand in building.
Yeah.
That's inspiring, right?
I think what they're arguing is that there's him, there's Dave,
there's
maybe Little Sims, there's a few people, but they're kind of anomalies. As opposed to like there being a proper... Yeah, there was none before. You have some people enjoying huge commercial success.
Yeah.
But then in general, rap is making less impact in the charts. So sales have decreased across the board. Why is this?
I couldn't tell you why it is, but we've been here before, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like, okay, we're going to do what we love to do, you know what I mean? And that's making amazing music. I don't feel like any good comes from like the conversations online. And the reason why I say that is because conversations online, it makes you put a magnifying glass on anything. So then you even forget how to enjoy something that you would just naturally enjoy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because you're putting a magnifying glass on it now. Like, you would actually just enjoy this record. It's a sick record.
Yeah.
But now you're like, you want to know where it comes.
Yes.
Like, in the first week, how much did it sell?
Yeah.
It came.
So suddenly the record, it looks like a failure when it's...
It's a bit of both, but I feel like we made people care about the numbers too much.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not even just the consumer. It's us as artists as well. I did this first week. So now when you don't do that now, it's like it's a failure, is it?
Yeah, but you can't blame... I would never want to blame... Like, it's not the artist's fault. It's the fucking industry's fault. Look, Spotify Wrapped. Look at these awful things that happen every year where you are pitted up against each other in terms of numbers. Suddenly data is more important than the art.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Like,
that's not okay.
And the whole label system is based on algorithms. How to get into them, how to move up them. And then what happens is all the music becomes homogenized. Is that the word? Like everything becomes the same.
Yeah, so I just think
they follow patterns and trends as opposed to original ideas.
That's facts. And I think moving forward, people have to work out what works for them and their fan base and try and just work out how to put value back in your art, because it's your art at the end of the day. And the fact that we put our end of year streams up, it's kind of embarrassing in terms of that, because if you think about it, it's like, okay, you do 1 million streams, that's $3 to $4 grand or whatever.
Okay, just hold it there right there. For people listening, it's really important that you know this. If you as an artist get 1 million streams,
it's like $3 grand 8 or something
you
around
make
that.
£3,800 roughly.
Yeah, roughly around there.
That's not very much money.
That's not.
For the amount of people who have listened to your record.
Exactly. So it then becomes like, okay, there's no value in 1 million people listening to your record.
Yeah.
And that means that we're in a very strange time. An even stranger time where we take the value that's been removed and say, hey guys, this is how much people are listening to my record at the end of the year, but this is how much I've made. Yeah. We need to have honest conversations amongst ourselves and how to just put value back in what we're doing moving forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, your art is valuable, and especially if you're somebody that wants to take care of the listener in terms, you might spend $5 grand on making a tune.
Yeah.
Just making a song. And that's me even lowballing it.
Yeah.
But let's just say roughly it's $5 grand. You give the producer $3 grand. You might have a feature on there, whatever. For you to do 1 million streams and earn less than that, it's actually embarrassing. And
so how do you make your money then? I
think there's been some wonderful ideas that I've seen come out. I think Jeremy's done something that I felt was good.
What is that? Sorry to interrupt.
Basically, what he did is not allow his album to be streamed for a certain period of time, but it meant that you can go to Apple and you can download it the old way, which it was $7.99 or something like that. Don't quote me on how much it exactly was, but Yeah, so even if he done 10 to 15,000 of them, Jamie laughs all the way to the bank, but he's plugged out the illusion, but he's fine. You know what I'm saying?
So what he's doing is tapping into his fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Asking them to invest in him.
Exactly.
And not trying to reach everyone.
And I feel like
that's clever.
That's clever, and it's a good way to move forward, because me telling a kid that he shouldn't do music because 3 to 4 or 5 million streams ain't really going to feed him, and he should be aiming to do 15 million streams across every record he makes.
Right.
That sounds just like torture.
I also feel like you have a strong set of musical peers that collaborate a lot. You have Wretch, you have Kano, and you can hear each other on all of your records, supporting, showing up for each other.
Yeah.
What does that do to have this sense of kind of collective, a collective evolution? You've been in the game for 20 years. You've all come up together.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of what Skepta is saying. You're kind of uplifting each other.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's extremely helpful, man. I feel like, and I said to Skep the other day, I went down to his Puma event, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he had thanked me for coming. And I just said to him, like, bro, it's amazing because we're now at ages where there's not a blueprint for us for what's been done when you get to this point. And I said, a lot of moves that you're making are very inspiring, man, because we're at the point where we can only inspire each other. Do you know what I mean? And give each other that light, like, wow, that's sick. That's a great idea, man. Or, yeah, I like the way you did that. Or, do you know, just these conversations, man. These are very important conversations, whether it's how to release music or what the next steps are, whether they be acting or, do you know what I'm saying? Just all these different avenues that what we love has opened the door for us to walk into these different rooms, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, very inspiring for me. Yeah.
Would you like to hear more podcasts about music? Well, let me tell you about Make Me a Mixtape. It's a podcast from Clara Amfo and Jordan Stevens. The premise is every episode they make a mixtape with a theme suggested by a celebrity or by you, the listener. It's such a fun listen. You can listen to it now on BBC Sounds. Okay, final thoughts. You're going to hate this question. Does the UK rap scene need fixing?
This is all depending on one's personal experience with the UK rap scene. Do you know? I'll be honest with you, Annie, yeah? And I hear people refer to the golden era, yeah?
Which would be what, in
like,
your opinion?
I don't know, like...
The early noughties? Or?
Yeah, early noughties. Maybe I'd say, I don't know, like, let's go from 2001 to like 282.
So the onset of grime, Dizzy Rascal winning the Mercury.
Yeah. I never had no money then.
Yeah.
So in my head,
you were an independent artist.
Yeah,
then.
and I keep thinking, this good time that everyone's talking about, I weren't having a good time. I was bloody stressed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what good time was everyone having?
And now everyone else is having a bad time and you're getting Mercury noms and you're like winning. So I think it's like, definitely.
It's
all subjective.
Yeah, it's all subjective. Because I think, everything was buzzing, but we were still building an actual infrastructure.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was actually still building stuff. So whilst a lot of people didn't know because we looked like we was having a time of our lives, which we was, but we was young enough to still create that energy because we was building. It was sick. We didn't know what was happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll never get that again. Like, you're just never going to get that energy again.
I just wonder sometimes, I'm worried that will there ever be, maybe I'm sounding like a really old, cynical person, but like we have lived through the birth of so many genres.
Yeah.
Jungle, garage, grime, hardcore, like...
But to a kid, that drill era might be the maddest thing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
To them.
Because
you're coming up, something's been introduced that feels like the frequency of your youth. To them, that's going to be the maddest thing.
It is.
And we have to respect that because we felt the same way about what was coming up through our time. Our parents felt the same way about their thing.
Yeah.
And so on and so on. I just think that when we get a little bit older, we just have to be a little bit careful in terms of just like looking at things like, that's not like how...
No, I
don't think so.
No, I totally agree.
The difference is we don't place enough value on difference now.
Oh my God. Write it down. Make it your next album title.
That's what I think.
Fucking hell.
That's what I think maybe the problem lies, where we used to see something that was really different and be excited by it, the difference in it. Whereas now, I think it can be ridiculed before anyone's excited because it's so like, I'm not used to this. What's like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas before it'd be like that's cold.
It's interesting.
Like that's
it's
super interesting.
Like think about goths. Remember goths? Like thinking of the Cure. You go around, you got a white face and like dyed black hair, and you look like a crow.
Yeah.
And you're going to school.
The crow. The crow.
You look like the crow. And that was just, do you know what I mean? Like people were so unique.
Yeah.
There was tribes.
Yeah, exactly.
There was scenes. And if everything's been so atomized by streaming, like everyone is served their own individual thing. So how do you feel part of something bigger than yourself culturally anymore when everything is just about the individual, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on one now.
No. Go off.
We had a very interesting discussion in the Sidetracked WhatsApp group this week about Lady Gaga's new song, Disease.
Yeah.
So everyone who listened agreed it was fun listening on the first go, but none of us had chosen to go back and listen to it again. And I remember saying to Grim, like, why is it that we haven't gone back? What is it about that song that made us not want to go back and listen to us? So what I want to deep is kind of what is it that makes us return to a song? Are there songs that you keep coming back to again and again and again? And if there is, what is the science of that? First of all, how do you feel about that?
If I knew the science, I'd have a lot more hits.
I know the science. I know the science.
I don't know. Please tell me the science.
I can tell you right now. It's fascinating.
Please tell me.
Okay, so basically, music, when you listen to it, it releases a happy hormone.
Yes.
Dopamine.
Yeah.
Okay? So that level of dopamine, which is a hormone, is further combined with our brain's ability to enjoy patterns. So music is essentially patterns. We find ecstasy in recognizing patterns. So neuroscientists describe it as being like the effect of having sex or eating something delicious. That's the kind of feeling you have when you listen to good music. And just like food and sex, we all have our individual preferences.
Yeah.
So there are some songs that are just like properly earworms, but there is another aspect to it too, which is the kind of subjective. What speaks to you? What releases your dopamine? What is it about a song that makes you specifically go back? But I think that there's more to it than that. And I think that you're doing it already.
By accident.
By accident. Because the way that you put together your music, it's so lyric focused.
Yeah.
And the lyrics that you produce can be so complex. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean that in a good way. That they can feel quite kind of accessible on top, but when you deep them, there's always layers. There's a sense of discovery when you listen to your songs, which compels people to go back and listen again to keep learning and keep discovering new meanings. So that's something you do already.
Yeah.
You do patterns,
I was
obviously.
thinking about the patterns of that Tyler tune.
Which one?
The one I'm telling you about, Push to Start.
Oh, Tyla.
Yeah, they need to put me on a marketing team right now, because I'm not gonna lie, I bust this tune to Addy and Addy didn't know about this rhythm before.
Well, the whole of the Sidetrack listeners are gonna listen to this now.
What? I'm telling you, she gas me up, give me. I can't even explain it.
What is it about the patterns? Like, why did you keep going back?
Do you know what's mad? I was just thinking, how have you written 4 choruses in a row?
So none of them were verses.
They must be, but they
felt like choruses.
Do you know what it's like? I could have took any one of those verses and used as a chorus. And I was like, it just keeps going and going.
Wow.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's so interesting, like the magic of it. Like,
there's people that can just do this.
We know how people respond to it, but when it comes to the actual creating of it, how do you create the song that people keep coming back to?
It's mad.
Like, it was interesting hearing Quincy Jones. I loved what he said about this idea of creating goosebumps.
I get that though.
How you mean?
Because when I create a record, there's some feeling I get when I know it's right. It's not goosebumps, but there's a feeling. And a lot of the time, that feeling is not there, Annie. Like, a lot of times. And then what I'll do is, everyone will think I'm holding the tune back. How you not putting that record out? But really, I've not put it out because that feeling doesn't exist. And normally, I haven't just worked it out.
And how
like, I had that with Laps for ages. Wow. Like, I had it with Laps for so long. I had Laps the beat. Yeah. Then I had like a verse on there before Moonchild even entered the conversation, and everyone was going sick. And I was thinking,
I don't have the feeling.
Nah.
So what's the feeling?
Some mad feeling in the stomach. Like, I can't even explain it. But it's like, when it's right, I don't even question it.
It's instinct and emotions.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be the mix of the two of those, like a hybrid.
Yeah. Just records have gone out without that feeling, and I've not been shocked at the outcome because they went out without the feeling. And
you know what? As a listener, as someone who's listened all her life and been that person that's played them or not played them, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
You can tell. Do you know what I feel like it is? Truth.
Yeah, man.
It's truth.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, see the truth. Oh my days, it feels so much different.
You can hear when a record isn't truthful.
Yeah.
You can hear when there's been a lot of opinions and a lot of boardroom discussions.
Yeah.
You can hear that. But when it's direct honesty from head to record and it's pure.
And it's funny how that works because the truth is leaving you as a human. There's an energy within that truth that then goes through the mic to the record.
Yes.
That energy still then stays there.
Yes.
Then other humans hear that energy and can then decipher whether it's authentic or not.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. They might not get the same truth from it that you do. They will interpret it in whatever way they want, but they will sense the honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is easy, but like, have you got a lyric of your own that's the most dear to you?
Oh, that's a great question.
Good.
I don't think I have a favourite.
What about someone else's lyric? It's like when you were coming through and you were like discovering rap music and loving it, was there a lyric that made you want to be a rapper?
You're gonna laugh because you're never gonna. Pina colada ice cream shaker. I be the menu, you be the waiter. Together we can be a menu of a music a sounding good. Pina colada ice cream shaker. Like so.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's like,
is it like
it's the one someone from like PSG's era.
Okay.
And like I remember them being on radio.
Yeah.
And like I'm just got my TDK putting the tissue in.
Yeah.
And I proper just recorded that bit just because I wanted to say it over and over again, just to see. And another one I learnt with my friend was big up Andre, May's song, Bad Boys.
Right.
Like I remember writing out the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then we was like saying it back to back.
Yeah.
To together.
Wow.
I think, and then Men in Black theme tune.
Of course. I got my kids to watch that the other day. That is a great film to watch with your kids.
Hey, what? with the dance as well. Don't kill me.
Men in Black.
Yeah. I love
it.
And this is when it started to get serious. Tupac changes.
Yeah.
Like Tupac's got that thing that we spoke about, the truth element.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why his music has lived for so long. Just that truthful.
It's raw. It's raw.
And that truthful state. Because I don't know, like, you see, when I listened to Changes at the time that I listened to Changes, I wasn't digesting it how I would digest it now.
Right.
Like, I couldn't pinpoint why I like Changes or what it meant or, do you know what I'm saying? Or how political charging it was. None of that stuff would have mattered to me at that age, but something spoke to me.
Yeah, interesting.
Something actually still spoke to me. Something, you know what I'm saying? And then when I listened to it later on in life, obviously, understanding like, oh, wow. Everything's digesting and you're peeling back the layers. You're understanding it for what it is. And it was like, wow, that actually spoke to me when I was a child, but I didn't know why.
Well, babe, we just put the world to rights there, I think.
Right, it's mind-blowing.
We know exactly the secret. Right, Ghetts, it's time to hear from one of our listeners. We hear from our listeners every week. So we have a question from Francis in London.
Yes.
So me and my best friend, Amanda, we've got something in common with you guys, which is that we are both obsessed with Rihanna. It's 75% of what we talk about, I think. So we have taken our obsession to the next level and we're trying to get through to her on Instagram. You have this thing where they have to read it or accept it to be able to see it. And so far she hasn't done that. I can't think why really. So I guess my question is, have you ever been aired or ghosted by a celebrity? And was it really awkward? And can you tell us about that time, if that has happened to either of you? Or what lengths have you gone to contact someone that you really want to speak to, someone quite elusive maybe, and did it work?
Oh, Francis, Jesus, where do we begin? I mean, like in my job over the years, which is to beyond radio, is to put on events, curate festivals, curate music nights. I have been aired by so many people who have reached out to and been like, hey, would you fancy coming and playing? Or, so you have to get pretty good at having a thick skin and not taking it personally when people don't get back to you.
Yeah.
I had a situation the other day where I emailed someone who I knew quite well and asked them to come and be a part of an event I'm doing, air. And then I saw them at the Cure and they came running up and they were like, I really want to do that event. I'm so sorry I didn't reply to your email. So you have to get good and not assume that just because there's no reply, they hate you.
I'm shy.
Yeah?
So I know.
So you don't ask in the first place? Come on, you must have asked people for when you need collaborations.
I rarely ask.
What do you mean?
I get to the point where I feel like it's super mutual.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean?
You wait to that point and then...
It's a bad habit though. Because I definitely not one for just shooting the shot.
Yeah. But what about someone like Sampha? How does that happen?
That come about? That's what I'm saying. Sampha's probably somebody that I wanted to ask for years. And that actually came about because of the Little Silver record. Just probably made me more we've got a record. Let's get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's probably somebody that I wanted to ask for years, man.
Yeah.
I need to,
get better at asking.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Francis. Ghetts, please would you do the honours of reading out the email and the phone number here?
Yes.
There you go.
All right. So the email is sidetracked@bbc.co.uk. That's sidetracked@bbc.co.uk. Everything correct spelling, please. Thank you. Now, the WhatsApp number is 079 700 82 700. That's 079 700 82 700. Don't touch that though. If you want to big up, give us a shot. I felt like I was on Deja doing that. Oh, that's so good.
I just applauded you. I just clapped him.
I ain't gonna lie, that brought back some memories. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, thank you guys for listening. Subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Questions as well are welcome. Ghetts, thank you so much. That was so fun.
Yeah, no, it was.
I enjoyed spending some time with you.
I want to do podcasts now.
Yeah, good. You've sold me, Tyla. I've sold your podcast.
No, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to that tune though.
Yeah, and you need to listen to the Cure tune.
No, I am going to listen to it.
We're going to go away and
listen.
listen. I've got it written down. Yeah. So goodbye, folks. Thank you so much for listening.
Take care. I hope you have a great day today. Thank you for locking in. You're done now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. There's a new episode of Sidetracked on BBC Sounds every Thursday. Now, if you like music podcasts, you must check out Make Me a Mixtape. It's a new podcast by Clara Amfo and Jordan Stevens. And in it, in every episode, they make a mixtape, create a new mixtape out of nothing, but a theme suggested by either a celebrity guest or by you, the listener. It's really fun. You can listen on BBC Sounds.